Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today I'm going to do something a little different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some very simple ways of taking stuff that you probably already know and expanding on it, making it something far beyond where you started. Now, this is a great thing to do for just like 5 minutes a day, and it involves taking just a basic lick that you already know, which we all have them. When we pick up a guitar, we end up playing the same like 4 or 5 licks. I don't care if you're one of the greatest guitar players of all time or you're just starting out. You're probably doing that. You have these common licks that you already play. So what I'm going to show you is a way of taking that and moving them around and being creative with them. Actually keeping the lick pretty much the same or the notes the same, but playing them in different ways. And it completely changes the vibe of the lick every time you do that. So I'm going to start with just a basic lick here. Make sure you grab the tab. You'll see the link in the description, and then you can kind of follow along. I'm going to show you a basic guitar lick, and I'm going to show you a couple of like 5 different ways of kind of doing variations on it. I'm using the same notes every time. I'm just going to be mixing it up and playing in different areas, trying to be more creative with the phrasing. All right, so we're going to get a lot of mileage out of just one lick. So let's try this. Let's start with this basic lick. Basic, kind of bluesy, rock, metal, whatever. I mean, it's used all over the place. You've probably seen a lick like that before. All right, now, a lot of players will just take that lick and just woodshed it for forever and then throw it in every single solo that they ever play. So that's fine, but you can do a lot more with that. Let's take those same notes and move them around a little bit. So I'm going to start now with just basically taking a slight variation, that ending of the lick. I'm going to now play it just as a bend. So that changed the ending of the sound of the lick. That's a very, obviously, very simple thing that you can do. Take one of the notes and bend into it instead of just play the note. But all right, so that's a very simple way of just changing how you physically play a note. And now, let's do another variation here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same lick, but I'm going to move it up to a different position. And that's going to change the fingerings across the strings. And I'm going to do it instead of starting with a bend, I'm going to slide into this note. Okay? And then, now you see how that changes the tone of the lick to this. Now, doing this, not only can you change the tone of the lick and the phrasing, because I'm using different techniques, I'm sliding and I'm picking across strings differently. It's also a great way to learn the fretboard. So if you literally took one lick a day, you could just invent a lick or just something that you already know, and then work on this process for 5 minutes, taking it and just figuring out how many different ways you can play that exact same lick. It really opens up the fretboard to you, and you become that original lick that you liked before may become 10 times better playing it in a slightly different way. So it's a way of being creative with stuff that you just already know, or everybody's already playing. All right, so let's look at another one here. This variation number 3. I'm going to start, instead of a slide, I'm going to hammer on, and then I'm going to pick across strings. I'm sorry. And then end it with a bend. So we have this as opposed to this. This one actually sounds a lot cooler. It sounds like a unique guitar lick now. Because when you're just going across strings like that, I didn't say these things would be as easy to play, but they sound more unique. But it's the exact same notes, and that's what I'm trying to get you to just experiment. And this becomes second nature to where you can immediately just move stuff all over the neck. Let's do another. We have variation number 4. Now, what I'm doing here is this. So you probably can see what I did there. I started just with a bend, And then the last half of the lick, I just, instead of doing this that I just played, I went and moved the second half of the lick up an octave. So we went from this to this. So that's a really good way of developing licks. Say you're building up your solo and you're going into a higher register to kind of build, the climatic part of the solo, whatever. Well, you can work your way up the neck. You're kind of building up and just kind of broadening out the lick. Still the same notes. You just take the last 3 notes there, moved them up an octave. Now this last variation, it's kind of this technique called octave displacement. People use it in a little bit different ways. But what it basically means is you take the lick that I did before. Probably getting tired of hearing this lick, but we're just trying to show you how to kind of create variations. Well, we're going to start it now with the top note that instead of, I'm going to play that up an octave. And then I'm going to go back down to the original for the next note, the original note in the octave. So now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the lick and I'm going to play one an octave higher. The next note is going to be in the original octave. Then the next note an octave higher. Then the next note in the original octave. So this is the exact same lick played with octave displacement. That sounds pretty cool. So it's the exact same notes. It's going to work in the exact same spot in the music. And it just came from this. I basically moved every other one of those notes up an octave. And you got this cool disjointed lick like that, but still makes musical sense because it's coming straight out of this thing. All right, which is something that we all play pretty much every day. So do this process 5 minutes a day with just any lick. A simple, it could be a 3-note lick. It could be a 1300-note lick, whatever. Whatever you're comfortable with playing, take it and then try to find different ways of playing it across the fretboard, with using different techniques, different strings, and really trying to be creative with it. It'll help you learn your fretboard, and kind of when you play licks that you're very familiar with, you can hear them in your head before you even play them. They just kind of pop out of your fingers. The same process is going to happen as you move it around. You get used to knowing where it's going to, instead of having just that one little pattern, all these patterns are in your head and you can hear them and play them because you've done this process of not just sticking with one lick, but taking it and just playing it in many different ways as possible. And it really helps you with your ear, your technique, and your overall creativity. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.